So, just for you, Chris, that one. Um, so I was on the treadmill yesterday morning. Um, I've just recorded this, but I really went off piste, so I've decided to start again. What was I doing? I was on the treadmill. That's it, minding my own business, just having a nice run, just going through the motions. Nice, just I didn't have headphones in or anything, just listening to the rhythm of the feet hitting the floor, doom, doom, doom. Nice steady run. Woman come in, got on the treadmill next to me, started to walk, not a problem. When she started to up her pace and started to come into a bit of a run, it really threw me off balance. Like my head went because of the rhythm. I don't know whether it's because my DJ passed. I don't know. I should be used to bad mixing maybe. No. Um, but it really threw me off. It really just the rhythm of her feet off beat with the rhythm of my feet really threw my brain off. It threw my breathing off. It felt like my heart was just like erratic. It was like, what's going on? It just really threw me out of kilter. And then she slowed down and just like went back into a pace of probably doing intervals or something like that. But she was, and I settled back into my own rhythm, like got back into the flow, got back into my breathing, got back into my heart, and that nice rhythm and flow. And obviously she's doing intervals, so she stepped up the pace again and started running. I didn't adjust anything the first time. I just kind of ran through it, just like, it's really, really discombobulating. Great word. Um, but it really threw me off. And then she started to run again, and it really threw me off again. We're running at different paces, different speeds. Obviously, well, not obviously, but I've got different length legs, so we're different running at different paces, different rhythms, and it really threw me out of balance. And I just like, well, I'm going to make a little adjustment here. So I lengthened my stride. I put the pitch up a little bit, put the speed up a bit, put the speed up a little bit, and adjusted my stride, and then fell back into sync with her. I just matched her running, just with a different stride. And like that, as soon as we got into some sort of rhythm again, it just my brain settled down, my heart settled down, my breathing come back into balance, and it was just like, oh man, that feels good. And it was just a little reminder. It's not something that I hadn't known before, but it was just a little reminder of the importance of just finding that balance and that harmony. Even within ourselves. No, you don't have to sit in the woods like me. I'm going to go down to the river and have a swim. I mean, I do recommend it. It's really good. Some people say it's not good for you, but I mean, we've been doing it since before swimming pools. So I would suggest that swimming in nature is pretty good for you. Um, anyway, what was I talking about? I said the importance of just coming back into balance and finding that harmony. Um, even with, we're taught to think with the head, think logically, take a step back and have a think about what you're saying. But really, we need to tune into the heart. The heart has its own intelligence. It has its own neurons. It remembers things. It learns things. It sees things before I mean, there's countless scientific studies out there about the intuition and intelligence from the heart and how the heart realizes things before the brain realizes things. Like a few seconds before, the heart will know something before we've even seen it, for example. If I can find the links, I'll put some links into the comments down below about this. I can't remember where I saw it now, but there's a few things, and there's another one. Greg Braden as well told a story about a scientific study in America where there was a 10-year-old girl that died and an 8-year-old girl that needed a heart transplant. And the heart that was transplanted from the 10-year-old girl into the 8-year-old girl, the transplant was a success. But after the transplant, the 8-year-old girl started having bad dreams, running through the woods, being chased, somebody chasing her, and this, that, and the other. And they went back to the surgeon, and he said, well, this sounds more psychological. So they went to see a psychologist. And he said, it doesn't sound like a dream, it sounds like a memory. So they got a sketch artist in, and they took a sketch of this person that was chasing the girl in her dream through the woods. And actually, it turned out that the 10-year-old girl was actually murdered in the woods. And because of the drawing that this 8-year-old girl who'd received the heart from the 10-year-old girl, because of the drawing the sketch artist made, they actually found the person that committed the murder. So the heart transplanted the memory from the 10-year-old to the 8-year-old girl. I mean, how far out? That's just like phenomenal. This scientific study, Greg Braden on Gaia, he talked about it. That's where I got that one from. But there's another one with clicking mice and seeing images. computer mouse. See an image, but the response, the heart, before the picture even come up, the heart responded. So these people were linked up to ECGs to read the brain reactions. And before the picture had even come up, it was a random picture. Something nice, something fluffy like a kitten, or something horrific like somebody being stabbed or something like that, just out of the blue. But completely random order, different times of what the picture would be released. So there was no rhythm in it, there was no pattern in it. But 3 seconds before the image actually come up on the screen, the brain activity started to go. And they're saying it's something to do with the heart as well. They were linked up to the heart. So I don't know that. I'll try and find a link and I'll try and stick it in the comments. But phenomenal. So there's multiple stories about this, like scientific studies. People call it pseudoscience, but the more studies that come out, peer reviewed, it's there. So it's just like the heart responds first, sends information to the brain, and then the brain sends information into the body. So that's where we get that heart, brain, body coherence. It's coming back to three, isn't it? The Trinity, the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, mind, body, breath. Heart, brain, body response, coming back into nature, just repeating these cycles. So it's just a nice little reminder, and I just wanted to share it, really. The importance of just checking in with yourself, at least. Listen to your heart, listen to the feelings. Your heart has wisdom, it has intuition, it has integrity, and it's really flipping important to listen to that. And then confer the brain and the heart. Again, going back to Greg Braden and the scientific studies, the heart and the brain harmonize. They communicate with each other. Yeah, it's not one way or the other, it's both. They communicate with each other, and it's getting into that sync rather than making rash decisions from the brain or panic decisions through fear. So many people are, they're tired, they're lethargic, they're stressed out, they're angry, they're frustrated. There's so like illnesses. Oh, I've got this, I've got that. I mean, there's lots of different reasons why that could be, but on the very basic and fundamental level, if you're coming out of that harmony, things are going to be out of balance. And when things are out of balance, that's when we start having trouble. That's when we start become irritated. When you're having a good day and everything just falls, you drop something, you just catch it instinctively. We're just having one of those days where everything just chink, 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 just falls into place. Yeah, I saw a post on Facebook. Why is it when my clothes get caught on something, it's always when I'm in a bad mood? An example, it made me laugh because it's true, isn't it? If you're having a bad day and you're out of kilter, you're out of sync, that's when you get snagged. That's when you stub your toe. That's when this happens. That's when that happens. When you're out of balance and when you're out of sync. It's just about getting into harmony. Come into nature, sit down in nature just for a little bit. I don't know if you can hear the birds, but it's absolutely phenomenal here. It's really nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. So I just thought I'd share that, really. Just take a moment just to check in. Listen to your heart. Listen to your gut. Listen to your brain. It's all there for a reason. Don't separate. Division is suffering. Opposites is suffering. It's like divide and conquer. It's again, these terms are there for a reason. Listen to your heart. Follow your gut. Divide and conquer. They're there for a reason because they work. Yeah. The more divided we are, in general, the harder it is. And if we're split on the inside, how are we going to be in harmony with people around us? If we don't know what we're doing in our own body and in our own mind and in our own heart, how are we going to be able to communicate and put that out to people around us? So it's really important to check in with yourself. Imagine if everybody was kind and loving and supportive of themselves, it would be so much easier to be kind, loving and supporting of others, wouldn't it? Without jealousy, without fear, without aggression. You wouldn't need aggression because you're so at peace with yourself that you'd be like, yeah, all right, you're not a threat to me, it's all right, we're cool. And if everybody was like that, imagine the community that we'd have working in harmony and being together. So it works on the micro, heart, brain, gut, body. It works on the macro as well. Get back into harmony. Our hearts and our brain and the alpha state and the earth, when healthy, all resonate on the same frequency. So it's micro, your body, to macro, even to healing the planet. just by getting that heart-brain coherence, vitally important. I think it's much overlooked in today's society. Well, it's completely overlooked in today's society, out there in the matrix, the big wide world. But yeah, it's really important. So yeah, peace out, be good. Hope that made some sense, not just a bad band in the woods rabbiting on, which is true.
The participants in the study were connected to various sensors to measure their brain waves, their heartbeats, and so on. And then they were exposed to various images. Some were high arousal, like a car crash or a snake striking, while others were low arousal images, like bunny rabbits and nature scenes. The participants were asked to push a button. They then saw a blank computer screen for 6 seconds. The computer then randomly selected one of these photographs that it displayed for 3 seconds. After that, the screen went blank for 10 seconds. They were prompted to push the button again, and they repeated this protocol about 30 times. When we analyzed all the data, the results were astounding. The heart seemed to know the images before the participants ever saw the images with their eyes. If the future picture was going to be one of the emotionally arousing ones, the heart rate started to drop about 5 seconds before the image was randomly selected to be shown on the screen. So nobody could know what this future picture was going to be. The heart had a much greater deacceleration than if it was going to be a calm picture. These results have since been replicated in many different independent labs around the world, actually. Well, a lot of people say that I don't feel it in my heart, I feel it in my gut. But here's what's really happening. The information comes to the heart first. The heart then sends a different signal to the brain, which we can measure. Then you have a brain response, and then a body response. And with the body response, like the feeling in the gut or the hair on the back of the neck, is where it becomes conscious. The real flow of information is heart, brain, body, and this is all happening many seconds before the actual event occurs. So what this body of research is telling us is that the heart seems to be connected to a type of intuition that is not bound by the limits of time and space. But what is that source of intuition? What is the heart connected to? And how can we learn to tap into more of that?